Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you what's inside my teaching portfolio that I use to get my job now as an 8th grade English teacher. In the very front I have a table of contents that shows the contents of my portfolio. So I have a teaching philosophy, credentials, classroom rules, unit overview, lesson plans, assessments, student examples, and some evaluations and letters that I received. Each of these indicates a tab with dividers in my portfolio. It's a way to keep organized, a way to show others that you're organized and know where all your things are. The first thing in my portfolio is my teaching philosophy. It's basically my personal mission statement about my beliefs, about how I want my classroom to run, how I view students, how I aspire my classroom to be, and also the expectations that I hold myself to as a teacher. It's pretty straightforward, to the point, just about students, instruction, and teachers. This next part is my resume. Pretty straightforward resume. Obviously there are tons of different ways that you can format a resume, but the contents are always usually the same. So I have my education on there, the teaching certifications I have, and any relevant teaching experience that I might have also. This next page is my teaching certificate. I am a certified teacher in the state of Pennsylvania. On there it shows the credential name, when it's effective, when it expires, and just like the area that I'm certified in. Next are my transcripts. You might be able to tell that this is a copy of my transcripts. I keep all my originals because I just don't trust anything, so I keep that all in my safekeeping, and then this is just a copy of my transcripts. On the front was my undergrad grades, and then on the back is any master's classes that I took. So I was able to take a master's class after I graduated. Those are my Praxis scores. I'm pretty sure I have on there Praxis 1 and Praxis 2, just to be sure. Those are copies as well. Then I have my classroom agreements. I like to call them agreements versus rules because it sets a tone of understanding cooperation in the classroom. And when I made this, these are classroom agreements that my students and I came up with together and we all agreed upon. So it was kind of like a mutual understanding of, I'm going to do these things and you're going to do these things, and we're going to work together to have a collaborative, cohesive environment in the classroom. The next part of my teaching portfolio is I think it's a couple unit overviews. I usually like to give these out before a unit starts. It's just an overview of what's expected, what's to come. Usually give a little background about why we're doing this unit, what's involved. I post some essential questions. I list the text that we'll be reading. And I also list possible assessments that will be given to students. And then below that I have, like, in detail why I would give those assessments and what I'm actually assessing them on. And then on the back, this was a really short play. It's just almost like a little calendar that tells them what to expect on each day. Here's another unit outline for a book called Speak. I love that book, by Laurie Halse Anderson. Again, we have the essential questions, we have the text, learning activities, the outcomes. Again, another outline. This was for the same book, but with using another book also. So A Monster Calls, they have a connection somehow. Again, same things: unit essential questions, text, learning activities, outcomes, that kind of stuff. Another unit outline. This was for a regular English 9 class. And then now we get into my actual lesson plans. My lesson plans kind of go in depth, so I like to keep them all together. I use a paper clip to keep those together. That way you kind of cut down on all these all these plastic sheet covers you have to get. So in my lesson plans, I like to include, obviously, the unit essential question, the lesson questions, the objectives that I have for students, the rationale, the why are we doing this lesson. And then I have my standards, of course, and then the instructional activities that we'll be doing. throughout the lesson. Next, the best part, I have some student work. This was an example of a student who needed to do a lot of revising. Um, this was a formal writing assignment that the student had. This was just showing how I would assess a student's writing. This next example is, this was a great piece of writing. My point or my intent was to show both ends of the spectrum, really great writing and need some improvement writing. This next part was some assessments that I gave, some student work. Again, pretty cool. This unit had to do with poetry and music, so the kids really enjoyed that. Again, some more student work. This was an essay that a student wrote on Romeo and Juliet. And then this is an update that my co-teacher and I would send out to parents to let them know, hey, here's what's coming up in your child's English class. Kind of just goes over like what's coming up next, what the workload will entail, and then also like any reassurance about any problems that might come up. This is a letter that we would send to special ed to give them an update of what's coming. And then lastly, we have my letters of recommendation. I have 3. You can have as many as you like, obviously. I feel like content is definitely more important than how many you have. So that's my teaching portfolio. I keep this with me at all times. I refer back to it a lot, actually. It's just good to have, and I hope that was informative for you.